Hello and welcome everyone. To all of you watching, thank you very much for coming back. Let's get started. Let's get started by saying hello to some of you in here. FPL Thunder, welcome. Pereira, also welcome. 3 familiar faces. Thank you all for coming back. So, let's any early questions. Sure, fire them my way. Hopefully we'll get some more going in the chat. Richarlison for Pereira. I imagine you're bringing Richarlison in. Richarlison for Pereira. Which way round are you doing that? Richarlison in over Pereira. Probably yes, a good move. But then Pereira looked not too bad at the weekend. So yeah, but I'd say Richarlison is the better option out of those two. Watford's fixtures I don't think are great. If I just go and have a quick look. You can all hear me okay? Just check you can all hear me fine. The fixtures. Pereira in, Richie out. Oh. Watford play Huddersfield, Newcastle, Southampton, Leicester in the next 5. 3-week punt. If it's a 3-week punt, then I'd do it. Richarlison has 2 difficult games in the next 3. If it's a 3-week punt and you know that you'll then go back because you have Richarlison, because you have him in your team already, or because you know you'll get Richarlison back because you have your wild card or something, then yeah, I'd have Richarlison in my team. No, sorry. Let's start this again. I'd have Pereira in my team for the next 3 weeks, but long term I'd have Richarlison. So if you're going to get him back, then let's get in Pereira or Doucouré. Pereira seems to be creating almost all of Watford's chances, so Pereira, yeah, is better for a 3-week punt. Their fixtures look great. I imagine he will return points. Yeah, fire your questions away. Hello, FPL Zebra. Welcome. Let's just go and see if anything's happening on Twitter. No, hopefully we'll get some more people in here. So a few topics that I want to discuss today with you. Where should we start? How close are you to getting rid of Salah? Or am I a solid Salah owner? Salah is staying firmly in my team. I don't think he's performing well enough. They looked bad at the weekend, Liverpool, but he still returns some points, and their fixtures are good. I've got more important things to address in my team. Alexander-Arnold and Fraser being 2 of them. What to do with Fraser exactly? I'm keeping, because he's involved in a team that seem to be scoring a lot of goals. So yeah, I'd be considering keeping him. But then someone like Schürrle is another good option. Schürrle in for Fraser could be quite a popular move, I think, at the moment. Schürrle's playing very well. So he's one I'd look at in that price bracket, but there's not much else for those prices that I'd look at shipping Fraser out for. So I'd be keeping him. If Salah continues his form, would it be wise to triple captain against Fulham? I'd never triple captain someone against that isn't a double game week. It's just the way I play. I'd much rather have take the risk of using my triple captain when they have two games to give me a possible return. So it would be a good fixture if if Cardiff can score 4 against them. How many can Liverpool score? But then will Salah get rested when they've scored a few? Maybe. So he's an option. It is an option, and it is something I'll probably consider, but I probably won't end up doing. Yeah. So where shall I start? We'll start with Martial and Manchester United, I think. Martial, Man U. Um, a lot of people bringing in him. He went up in price last night, and I would just say wait. Their fixtures are all right. They're not bad at all, but I just he's probably going to not be a bad option going forward. And if you've already brought him in, I wouldn't worry. But but yeah, I wouldn't be going near any of those assets. Martial and Shaw are the only two that I consider, but I don't think I wouldn't be going through near any of them just yet. Keep Fraser for a few more game weeks. Yeah, especially for Fulham. I mean, you've got to keep him this game week. Then their fixtures get a bit tougher. But then again, for that price bracket, you can't. There isn't much else. Schürrle is the only one I'd look at. So, how about Martial as a fantasy option? As a fantasy option? I'm not entirely sure what you mean by that. Jules, what do you mean by a fantasy option? So, Tar out for Robertson, Trippier, or Doherty, or someone else? Tar out. You need a Liverpool defender in there. Their fixtures are too good to not have one. So for me, it would have to be Robertson. Walker to Mendy, absolutely needs to be done. Absolutely needs to be done. Mendy looks so solid. He's returned. He came back. He scored 10 points straight away, and we've seen from him what we missed from the few weeks he wasn't there. He's staying in my team and will be for a long time. Let me just tweet it out one more time, guys. Try and get a few more familiar faces in here. I imagine people are watching the Champions League, which is why they aren't in here. Right, I've posted that out one more time. If you guys could retweet it, it would be really helpful. But let's get cracking. What should I do with Doherty? Um, what should I do with Doherty? You've probably not brought him in that long ago. I'd keep him because of his positioning, and he can return. Looks like he could return in any game because of where he plays. So I'd be keeping him for now. I wouldn't worry about him. Is Mendy capable of playing 3 games in a row? I saw that he's picked tonight. Not ideal, but it's Tottenham away at the weekend, and Pep will want to turn out his best side, which Mendy is definitely a part of. So I don't see him being rested this weekend at all. Um, yeah, I wouldn't worry about Mendy not playing. I wouldn't worry about many not playing. We'll see what the Liverpool lineup is, to whether I change my captain from Salah. But then Hazard's meant to have picked up a back injury, so I'm not putting it on Hazard. So I think it will be Salah captain. My transfer this week, I don't know. Let me know what you think about it. Will be Zaha to Arnautovic. I don't know if you've heard. Let me know in the chat if you know anything about. There was rumours that Arnautovic was rumoured to have headbutted and punched someone, which is why I haven't done the transfer yet. I'm just I'm just waiting to see if Arnautovic gets a ban. I haven't heard anything about it, and I'm sure you would have heard something by Tuesday. If there was a player who was going to see um, who's going to see a ban. So I think Zaha to Arnautovic. Zaha's done in my team. Zaha's been too much stress for me. Evening. Oh, welcome FPL family. For any of you who don't know them, I'm sure you do. If you're watching my streams, you definitely will watch theirs. These are the big streamers around here. They've got a lot of support and their streams are great. So yeah, go and check them out and subscribe and follow them if you don't already. Mendy and Sane can play together by the looks of last week. Absolutely. I was saying it. I said it before the game. I said Sane and Mendy can play together. But it may affect Mendy's positioning. It may not let Mendy push up, which it probably didn't. If you look at his heat map, it's not quite as good. But he still got an assist. He still scored us 10 points, and you cannot complain at that. So Mendy and Sane both look very good options down that left side, and actually playing together will help each other out. So I'd really I'd really look at them as options. Arnie getting frustrating, but I'm sticking. I'd stick. The look of Arnie's fixtures is just so good. I'm looking at Patricio. If I had a spare transfer, Patricio to Fabianski would be something I'd probably do. Um, West Ham's fixtures look incredible, which I'll get onto fixture turns in a minute later on in the stream. How did Arnie look against Spurs? I didn't watch it, but I heard that Arnautovic was very unfortunate not to return any points. So, and if he can do that against Spurs, then what else can he? What else can he? What else could he do against the weaker teams? So, yeah, I'd I'm getting Arnie in. His fixtures are too good. Keep Jimenez. One I tweeted out last night, and a few people agreed with me, a few people disagreed. Was Iheanacho. Leicester's fixtures look incredible, and he was actually playing higher up the pitch than Vardy was last night. He didn't play the whole game, but um, while Damari Gray's out, then Iheanacho is an option. People saying he's not nailed, but he's played almost every game since he got um, well, he played almost every game since Damari Gray's been injured. So if you want to get rid of Jimenez, I'd be looking at Damari Gray or then trying to fund Wilson, but his fixtures aren't great. So Mitrovic or Arnautovic is where I'd go from Jimenez. Those three options. Eyes on Mane tomorrow. Yeah, my brother has Mane in his team, and I'm just telling him just to watch. I'd hold on for this Cardiff game. Um, hold off for this Cardiff game. I'd keep Mane for that. But then, yeah, Salah could also do very well. We'll see how they play tomorrow. It could be one to look at, but you definitely need one of Mane or Salah in your team, I think, going forward, or Firmino. But Sturridge didn't look at it at all at the weekend, and you probably saw that, Lee. I have to say, Sturridge looked very off it. Shaqiri looked good. So this makes Firmino even more of an option in my opinion, because then he's not going to want to start Sturridge after the way he played. The effort he put in was so poor, I felt. So Firmino is also another option, but there are so many good premium forwards out there or cheap forwards out there that I wouldn't be necessarily finding room to fit him in my team. So, yeah, well, I'm trying to jump on while I can and get going before too many other people try and do it. Yeah. Need a City defender. Thoughts on Laporte? Laporte's played every game, and um, he has said, Pep said that Laporte is one of, if not the best left-sided centre backs in the world, and so to me, he's not getting dropped. He's Otamendi of last year. Um, so if you can't afford Mendy's the number one option. But if you can't afford him, then Laporte is definitely an option. Laporte's probably the most nailed in that defence, so he's really is a good option. Yeah, Laporte is very good. If not Edison, but then he's a premium keeper, and you all know how I feel on premium keepers. Sturridge got only fluke against Chelsea didn't mean he's an option. No, he's really not. He played him and he looked so off it at the weekend. I have to admit. Ooh. Been trying to find a way to get Martial in, but I wouldn't have. I'd have to remove Richarlison. I wouldn't bother. I'd I'd consider him and I'd watch him and I'd see how he plays. Not necessarily how he returns points, but see how he plays over the next few games, next game or two, and see what he does then. Um, you don't. I wouldn't bring him in yet. Richarlison then has Manu, but then Richarlison then has an easy game, so I'd wait until after that and see what happens. But I wouldn't be doing anything, and I wouldn't worry about not having him yet. Might go for Pereira instead. Yeah, Pereira for a nice short term, a nice short punt is very good. They've got three each games, two at home as well. So yeah, Pereira looks strong. Um, Hello Momo, welcome. Thank you for coming by to support the stream. What should we talk about next? Let's go with Kane. And I mean, there's only one thing I can say on him. If you have him, please don't keep him. Um, he's one that I think he's not ready for our teams yet. There are too many premium priced players that are outscoring him. So Kane is a big no, and I wouldn't be having him. I know one of the FPL family members had him, where I think it was Sam actually, and she was drawn in by her love for him being a Spurs fan. But I think it's time for him to go from all our teams. He could have been a good pick and he could have punished us, and I was scared not having him for those 2 games, but he's got to go, I think. Doherty to Laporte and Fraser to Murphy. Yeah, a good option. Fraser to Murphy. Is there another option of Murphy? What's his name? Will Hughes is another option. Yeah. Will Hughes, yes, but Laporte, you need City defence. They just look so good, and so do Liverpool, and so do Chelsea. The 3 defences that I'd be looking at the moment. William or Pedro mid-term options. Neither William nor Pedro. We don't know who's going to play. Pedro should play. Willian's been awful. From what I've seen, Willian's been poor. Pedro should play, but he doesn't seem to. So whether there's something going on, we don't know. Sam's got Kane, and she's probably keeping for their upcoming fixtures. She's got more determination in that man than I could ever have. They've got City, Wolves away, Crystal Palace away, Chelsea at home, Arsenal away. In their next are their next fixtures. I just can't see how that's possible. I can't. But good luck to her. It's a real differential now if you own them. Yeah. Catch you on your stream next time. All right. Thank you for sticking by. Yeah, I imagine a lot of you wanting to watch the football, so we'll do what we can. Hi FPL lawyer, how you doing? Yeah. Oh, thank you, both of you for coming by. Means a lot to have the support we're having. Budget options are Billing, Camarasa, and Kennedy. Kennedy is one I looked at. I told a lot of people, talked a lot about Yedlin last week, and Kennedy is another one. Not Liverpool. Newcastle's fixtures are so strong at the moment. He has to be considered. I mean, a lot of you got burned by him at the beginning of the season, but this might be one to reconsider. Don't want Arnie, so Fraser or a defender has to be downgraded. Yeah, I wouldn't downgrade any of those others. Definitely not. Can Mane be good enough sub for those you can't afford? Salah, absolutely. You need one of them, and if you've got your 3 forwards, in my opinion, it goes. Salah is the best option. Firmino is second, and then Mane is third from that front 3. Mane is probably the weakest, but he's still a good option. You still need at least one of them. We are prepping for a Skype call with the 3 amigos on their pod next week. Oh, I look forward to tuning into that. What's up, guys? How you doing? Welcome, everyone. Thank you all for coming by. FPL family still smiling after the dump. Harry comments. I am not sure what that's about, but something from their stream. They always do a good stream. Unfortunately, I couldn't watch it all on Sunday night, but I do my best to watch it afterwards. Thoughts on Duffy or Ryan? Ryan is probably the better option if you don't have a set keeper at the moment, but Duffy's probably easier to fit into your team, if that makes sense. Wasting a transfer on a keeper probably isn't what you want to do. Richarlison to Billing. Camarasa would enable Mane to Salah. Salah will outscore Mane, but then Mane and Richarlison, I'd imagine, would outscore Salah and Billing. So you're hoping that Salah does so much work that he outscores Mane and Richarlison combined with that, Lee. So that's a tough one. I would be wary of making that move. Yes, Salah seems like an option you need at the moment, but you've got to look in the grand perspective that Mane and Billing, Mane and Richarlison combined probably will give you more consistent returns than Salah and one of them will. Thoughts on long-term replacement for Mitrovic? Already have Arnie. Why are you looking for a long-term Mitrovic replacement? If I had Arnautovic in my team, I'd be getting Mitrovic in. I really wouldn't consider getting him out at the moment. I'm not sure why you'd be doing that. If you let me know why Varun, why you'd be getting rid of Mitrovic, let me know. Would you do Alonso to report, allowing a better Fraser upgrade? Now, Alonso is one that we should talk about. His fixtures coming up are brilliant. They absolutely are. But he hasn't been returning. From that Chelsea team, you either want Alonso or you want David Luiz. You want one of the two. The other, Azpilicueta or Rudiger in the middle, aren't really worth it. They're sort of stuck in the middle ground, not returning enough points to be worth it, but they're not cheap enough to warrant that route in. Yeah, Alonso. I think if you saw him in the Man U game, he was so far up the pitch. His returns are there. His returns must be coming back. So I'm keeping. Um, a lot of people are ditching right, but I think he could be good against Fulham. I'm keeping Lawyer. I'm keeping him for this game because my transfer is going elsewhere. But then after that, I might be looking to Fraser to Schürrle if I can afford it. That's an option that I'm really looking at. Yeah, stick with Mitra, definitely, definitely. Schürrle and Mitrovic look like real options. Thirsty. Had football training tonight, so I'm rushed back for this. Long when Fulham's fixtures stiffen. They stiffen in about 5 weeks, so yeah. Keep Bournemouth assets. Yeah, anyone could score against Fulham. If you watched Match of the Day and saw those Cardiff goals against that Fulham defence, I have never seen defending like it in the Premier League. I've never seen it like it in top flight football, let alone in the Premier League. Keep your Bournemouth assets. The way Bournemouth are scoring and the way Fulham are defending could be it could be a lot of goals. I mean a lot. Never seen a team defend like that in a long time. Um, so I'm not sure who has great fixtures after Mitrovic has turned bad. So the players that I'd look at in those price brackets are Mitrovic, Arnautovic, Jimenez, and Iheanacho, and maybe Ings, but he's not really doing it at the moment. If not, switch it to a 3-5-2 or something like that. Lee's Nan is pretty handy. Um, would you sell Fraser for game week 11? Again, this is it. Would you sell him? Yes, I would, if there was a better option to get in, if that makes sense. He is himself a good option, yeah, but his fixtures aren't. So I would be wary about getting rid of them if I'm honest. Because there's just no one who I see returning that many more points. Maybe Will Hughes is an interesting one. I'm quite interested by him, or one of the cheap Watford midfielders, or if you can upgrade, go Pereira. Another one of them. If you have money in the bank, Watford's fixtures aren't bad. They're short term though, so it's tough. Might go for a differential. Find someone that you think might stand out, but. Fraser Schürrle is one. He just seems to be in the right place at the right time, even though the team can't defend. I don't really have examples. Yeah, anyone who know what what happened to Vardy last night? 2 minutes before the end, he was like, I've had enough of this. I'm out of here." If any of you know what he did or why he left, let me know. I'm very interested to find out. So next, we'll talk about the turn of fixtures, and the teams that I'd be looking at. This was a big one when I posted. What should I discuss? And this was a big one. So the teams that you should be looking at if you're needing someone: Brighton, Newcastle, Leicester, West Ham. Brighton, Newcastle, Leicester, West Ham, Chelsea, Liverpool. Those six could make up a very large part of your team, and you need at least I'd say you need two from Chelsea and two from Liverpool. The way they're playing and the fixtures they have, as well as probably one from all the other teams. Newcastle and Brighton, maybe not, but the others, West Ham, yeah, probably. Fabianski looks like a real good option for those fixtures. Um, so yeah, I'd be looking at least one of them. Fabianski could come in for Patricio. I said if I had a spare transfer, I'd use it there, but Arnautovic is coming in. Ozil looks like a good differential. Ozil did. It seems they gave him the armband and he absolutely it transformed him. And Arsenal looked really good. Arsenal did look very strong. And someone said, do I think that um, for the first half they look at their opponent and they're a bit weaker in the first half and they sort of suss them out, and in the second half they go out knowing exactly how the opposition is going to play and they tear them apart. Actually seems to have happened quite a lot this season. But anyway, Ozil he is a bit hot and cold, as FPL family is saying. Um, if he's got a good run against weak teams, then yeah, I'd look at him. He's on set pieces as well though, and a player on set piece can return in any game. And there isn't many people in that price bracket. He's 8 point something, isn't he? There's no one in that price bracket really, apart from David Silva. So if you're looking for someone in that price bracket, then I would look at him and I would consider him, because there's no one between the sort of 7 million and then 9, 10 million price bracket that you want to consider, apart from Ozil and David Silva. So yeah, I would be looking at him actually, and if he continues the form, he scored 3 in his last 4 games. So yeah. Oh, maybe while you're wanting to bring in a Arsenal player. Um, anyway, keep firing your questions. Only Arsenal, Man U in next 30 matches of top teams. Yeah, well then, absolutely. Um, oh, Huddersfield. Mm, I don't know why you'd consider Huddersfield. Huddersfield could play Cardiff every week, and I'd still probably not bring someone in, or Fulham every week. They don't score enough goals and they don't keep clean sheets. There's not much there for me, if I'm honest. Huddersfield. They've got good fixtures, but they're not worth going for. FPL family saying Huddersfield. No, if I was gonna get one, it would be a defender, but I just don't see them keeping clean sheets, and I don't see them scoring too many goals. Their two strikers have combined not scored in 400 days or something ridiculous, like a year of football combined. If you add one and the other together, since their strikers have scored, so it's not a good one. Keeping close eyes on De Bruyne tonight. Yeah, I think we all are. He's one of those players that you might not want to captain ever, but having in your team will constantly return points for you. So yeah, I hope he plays well, and it's good to see him back. You don't want to ever see a player get injured like that. So I'm glad to see him back, even if his returning video on Twitter was a bit cringe. But anyway, gonna have to run dinner time. Wish I'm the best. See you later, Lee and Sam. All right, thank you so much for coming by. Would It means a lot for all of you for your support. Yeah, can't get too excited about Huddersfield and FPL, but Billing as bench fodder maybe. Yeah, I think Billing, he's cheap, so yeah, yeah. Okay, if you plan on having him as your fodder, then yeah, but you don't want to have to be playing him every game week. That would yeah, he's not going to return nearly enough points. He's on long throws. That's about all I can say about him, but I wouldn't bother. Particularly planning on ditching Zaha. He has a few hard fixtures ahead. Absolutely. My transfer this week, as I said earlier, if you weren't here, is going to be Zaha to Arnautovic. Arnautovic's upcoming fixtures are just too good to turn down. Do any of you know what happened with Arnautovic and his potential ban? Because I saw the video and he did headbutt and hit them. Um, he did headbutt and hit him, so I'm just trying to wait to see if there's any news, but I'm sure we would have heard by now, so I'll probably wait till Friday just to make it, unless there's any price changes. There's no point making it early. But yeah, Zaha to Arnautovic is is what I'll be doing. If you're using an unbalanced team, it depends how unbalanced you go. If you've got cheap players that are very capable of scoring points, then it's not a problem. So if you have people like even if you had a Fraser in your team, and then instead of my team I had Madison, and instead of Madison I had a 5 million who could return like Brooks or someone like that. Then you upgraded Zaha to a premium forward, then that's not too bad. But you'd want to keep some sort of balance. Don't go too heavy and have 2 or 3 players that return once every 3 games or something. You can have one player that does that. When you start doing 2 or 3, then you're going to struggle when the games and they're not returning. Nothing on Arnie Ban yet? No. Who's the best 5.1 midfielder? Let's have a look, shall we? If I do this, let's see, does this work? I'm trying. Does this work? Is that loaded? No. Give me 1 second and we can have a look at. I'll look at the fixtures with you. Oh, my phone does this at times, and it's always good in the middle of a stream, isn't it? Here we go. Right, so best 5.1 million midfielder. Oh, my screen, there we go. It's slightly behind. Right, 5.1 midfielder, sorry. So if I just pretend I'm going to transfer out Fraser, prices, we'll put 5.5 in. We'll sort by value. Fernandinho is an interesting one. You can't afford him for 5.1, but so 5.1. Let's sort by total score, and we'll see who's coming up here. No, Capu is definitely not, even though he scored 11. Camarasa, he did well at the weekend, and he has been doing well. Yeah, and look at those fixtures for Cardiff. They're not at all bad up to game week 20. So Camarasa actually could be a good option. He's returned 26 points this season. Højbjerg, Murphy of Cardiff. There's been talk around this guy actually. Josh Murphy, is this the one? Cardiff midfielders could be, but they are again Cardiff. If not, Billing is another one. Not much. How much is Will Hughes gone up again? No, Will Hughes is only 5 now. His fixtures up to, if you're keeping him long term, that's what you're looking at long term. Only 3, red fixtures, so those are the fixtures that we're looking at for Will Hughes. He's been playing. The only thing is Delafeu is coming back, and whether that's the position that he'll take. I'd watch out on that. Yeah, Camarasa as an enabler seems very good. And he might be the player that you play and then you rotate him with Wan-Bissaka or Bennett. Then it's absolutely plausible having him in your team. I wouldn't be wanting to play him every week because he's probably not going to return. I'll need to start rotate with Bennett. Then that's the thing. Then Camarasa is a good option because you're not playing him every week. He's not going to return every week, and you know that. But if you have him in your team to rotate, then absolutely, he's then go with an enabler. This is the thing. In my team now, I've got Bennett and Wan-Bissaka on my team, who I'm actually never going to play anymore because of the strength I've got in my team, unless Tar doesn't play, which he doesn't seem to be. But anyway, yeah. Always good to have. A good way of doing it is it frees up funds if you have sort of a couple of players rotating, cheap ones. So if I downgraded Fraser to a 4.5, and then I could rotate Wan-Bissaka, Bennett, and that 4.5, and the amount of money that would free up to upgrade elsewhere could be really beneficial. Like I could do Alexander-Arnold to Robertson, so that would be a big one. Hi Sam, how you doing? I wonder if anyone in the FPL family household knows anything about Tar and why he hasn't been playing. He's got one more week, and if he doesn't play, they will definitely keep a clean sheet, and I will be lose out once again for the third week running. But anyway, any of you read the wasting a wild card? Let me just unplug that now. Go back to that. Any of you read the Wasting a Wild Card book will probably understand where my number one point that I want to talk about now comes from. Captaining home versus away. Now, you always think if, like last week, Aguero at home to Burnley, Salah away at Huddersfield, right? Aguero, a nice, easy home fixture, Salah all away game. Now, what was in that book that I want to talk about is that if a low team go away to a top club, they will shut up shop and they will try and play for a draw. Where if they're at home, they're less likely to do that, and they're more likely to try and play some football, and which can then create gaps in their defence. Which is why actually I then thought, oh, I'll go with it, and I went with Salah last week, and then which is why I went for Salah last week, which gave you 2 points more. But yeah, having because Huddersfield at home have to try and play. I mean, Liverpool didn't play nearly as well as they maybe should have done at the weekend. But that could have been a lot more. Aguero, they won 5-0, but he only played 60 minutes. I mean, that 60 minutes for Aguero is a whole new topic. But we will see. Yeah, thank you. I think I do need Robertson, but where would you guys plan on me getting Robertson in? Where does Robertson fit in my team? Alexander Arnold out and Robertson in, but where would you get that money from? Fraser? Downgrade Fraser and then rotate Fraser, Bennett and Wan-Bissaka is an option. I could get almost a 5. I could almost get Will Hughes, and then upgrade Tar to Robertson. But I'm not entirely sure if I can exactly do that. Maybe I'll have a look. We'll do this again. This nifty little feature, which seems to take half an hour to connect all the time. I think I need a new lead for my phone. Nope, that doesn't want it. Let's try again. Oh, there we go. Is that in? Yeah. So Fraser will be coming out, and you'll be coming out. Downgrade Zaha. The only thing is Zaha. This was my planned transfer this week, Sam. Where is he? This was my planned transfer. Because of this, I mean, I can't turn down. I mean, even if you go to game week 24, Bournemouth was away and Arsenal at home, but to 21, I can't turn that down. I just don't think there's any way I can have anyone else as a replacement. So it would be Fraser out and Tar out. Robertson in 6.4 now. It leaves me with pennies to play with, which would make me look at a Cardiff midfielder. Camarasa would be the one, I think. We'd be looking at something that looked like that. But that is also an option. Yeah, so keep your questions coming in. We'll do some just quick question answering now. Fire away. Downgrades. Would you rather Camarasa than Murphy, Kennedy, or Hughes? It saves 0.5 a million, and if I'm going to rotate them, then yes. But Kennedy or Hughes are probably better options, but they're 0.5 more. And if you're not going to be playing them every week, then I wouldn't invest in them. This is the thing: the amount of money that you then have be sitting on your bench if you're benching a better player, then you've got to think about how often you're actually going to need them to play. I mean, sometimes you end up having them play more often than you want. I've had that recently, annoyingly. Bennett came off my bench for 0 points this week thanks to Tar not playing. Yeah, keep your questions coming in. Another one in my team is Maddison. Hasn't returned in 2 game weeks now. Got West Ham at home, which is a good fixture. He did look good. He came off in the game the other night, last night. But he did look good, and he does look very involved, and he takes all set pieces. So he looks like one I'd keep for a while. Things I want to change in my team is the so players that I'm happy with. Patricio, yeah, I'll keep him because a Wolves defender is fine. Mendy a keep, Alonso keep, Hazard, Richarlison, Salah, Maddison keep, Aguero keep. Fraser is questionable, but there's not much else at his price. Zaha is going. Tar would be good if he could get a start. And then Bennett and Wan, I don't see I'm selling them all season. And Stecklenburg and Kamara, I mean, they're never going to play. I mean, when I wildcard, I'll maybe change them, but we will see. Kamara to success on my wildcard or something like that, which I still have, thankfully. He'd be a replacement for, but have Bennett and Wan-Bissaka. Then I'd get Camarasa. You're actually very unlikely to play Camarasa. You'd probably end up you'd play Bennett this week, and then maybe Camarasa in the upcoming weeks. But after Crystal Palace have their tough 4 games, which they've got now, then Wan will be a real option. Yeah, so I'd go for the cheaper option because Kennedy and Hughes are not really gonna. They're not enough. There's not enough value in them. 0.5 more than Camarasa if you're playing them 1 every 3 weeks. If you're rotating 3 players, so you play them 1 every 3 weeks. There's not worth it for that 1 in 3 to spend a 0.5 million. So I'd keep I'd go to Camarasa with those options. I mean, I'll show you I can tell you on my points. I scored 45 this game week, which is 2 above average. Not the best, but could have been a lot worse. Salah captain, second highest point scorer in my team. Only blanked once with my captain. Camarasa over Murphy. I think that one's you're pulling out the hat, if I'm honest. It could be either of them. People are saying Camarasa, so I'd look at him, but either of them, it's potluck really with the pair of them. Would you love any other players from West Ham given their fixtures if you wasn't going for Arnie? Felipe Anderson, yes. He's quite cheap actually, so maybe in the replacement for my Fraser spot, as well as then Fabianski. They have one of their centre backs, Balbuena, is meant to be playing very well as well, and he's not very much. So whether he's one to look at. So who I'd look at, Fabianski, Balbuena, Felipe Anderson, and Arnie, with the 2 best being Fabianski and Arnie. Arnautovic is probably on penalties as well, so that makes him even more of a threat. Except you do have the worry, as we saw this weekend, of players missing penalties. But I'd go Arnautovic or Fabianski. If not, Felipe Anderson does look good. But with Yarmolenko out, I don't know how long he's out for. Mikel Antonio will be coming into play, I imagine, in his spot. So whether you take a punt on him and have a look there, might be an option. Yeah. Well, if you don't have any more questions, I'm quite happy to stay answering them for as long as you want. Feel free to ask anything. I'll just check. I had a few topics sent to me on Twitter, so I'll just read some of them out. Thank you. I'd only just seen that FPL family for tweeting it out. That's very helpful. It means a lot. Thank you all of you for your support. Really is very, very generous of you all. Trying to hit 75 subscribers after this video. I was on 59 before it started, so if we can get to 75 would be would be amazing, really amazing. The support I've got and the views I'm getting is just incredible. So thank you. No problem. It's what I'm here for. Absolutely no problem. Happy to help answer any questions. And even if you don't have to wait to ask me on stream. If you have something else you want to ask between now and the deadline, because I won't stream again before the Game Week 10 deadline, feel free to message me and ask. Just tweet me, and we'll get a discussion going. Here we go. The Mitrovic or Arnautovic. That's a question I was asked. I'd go on Arnautovic on that one if any of you are thinking about making that decision. Another one, is Aguero worth it, worth his price tag? And this will be the last topic I discuss. Is Aguero worth his price tag if he's only playing 60 minutes? Simple answer is yes. I suppose a complex answer is yes actually as well. This is because he plays 60 minutes, yes, but he seems to be returning every game and he is nailed. Playing 60 minutes makes him nailed. If you had him playing 90 minutes each week, you wouldn't have him being nailed. He wouldn't play every week if he played 90. So you sort of compromise. I think we're all taking for granted, actually, quite how much Aguero is playing. I think he's played almost, if not, he started every game this season, which is pretty unheard of for a City player, especially a forward. So you compromise. You say, oh, okay, he's only playing 60 minutes. Maybe I look to captain elsewhere because he's only playing that. But he's still returning more than most people, and he's playing every week. I would have him in just for the security of a City player playing every week, because you know that if you have Sterling, as we saw this week, the one week he's left out, they go and score 5 or something like that, and you think, well, this is Pep Roulette at it again. So I think he is still an option. I think he will always be, and he could be a one just to keep for the whole season, unless they get to the Champions League. When they start progressing in that, then he might get rest in the Premier League. But then if the league's tight, then he's not going to want to rest him there either. So 60 minutes could be a season-long trend for Aguero. So I wouldn't see it ending anytime soon. Keep Doherty for this game week, then sell to Mendy and Fraser to Murphy in game week 11. So Doherty against Brighton away is better than Mendy Tottenham away, probably. And keep Fraser for Fulham, absolutely. So Doherty to Mendy and Fraser to Cameras or Murphy the week after, and then you can rotate them with Bennett and Wan-Bissaka. Is probably where I'd go. But yeah, those look like really good moves to me. So yeah. Any final questions from you? Again, yeah, thank you all for coming by. Get your final questions in while I'm speaking, and I will answer them. Thank you all for stopping by. I've done a slight upgrade on the stream layout, even if it is just a blank background color and a few more things on it. But I like the way it's looking. I'm enjoying streaming and talking to you all about this. Don't know what I'll do when I go home from university and have to do it in my own home with my parents there and tell them quite how addicted I am to Fantasy Premier League. But we will see. Had to do a new badge as well. Hope that didn't confuse you. I know it's a tough one to work out whose it is. The other one was a Florida Electricity Company's logo. So I think if I'm streaming and it's going on YouTube, probably best not to have it. Just in the small chance that they tune in and watch it. No, but probably best not. But yeah, I've upgraded my YouTube layout as well, so I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying a lot of Twitter at the moment. I think there's a lot of good stuff going around the community, a lot of great people putting out good content. So I'm sure I will share a lot of that and I retweet a lot of it as well. So be sure to follow me and hit that subscribe button. And thank you all for tuning in. And any questions? Sorry. Any more questions, please do message me on Twitter and I will do my best to answer them. So thank you all for tuning in. It means a lot, and I will see you probably this time next week. Actually, maybe Thursday next week, but I will let you know, and I'm sure I will give you a lot of heads up. So please hit that subscribe button, follow and like the video, and spread the word. Tell your friends on Twitter. thank you all, and I'll see you around.